Hey everybody. Hi, it's Christine McAlister, the founder of Life with Passion and Life with Passion Society, my private Facebook group for women on the path to leaving their 9-to-5s and getting their big dreams. Welcome. Coming to you today to talk about your why and your purpose. And I had just an incredible experience with one of my clients today that just got me thinking a lot, and so I really wanted to share it. And I wanted to take your questions on finding your calling and finding your purpose and finding your passion, because this is something that I really didn't have clarity on for a lot of years. And hey Morgan, hey everybody, thanks for joining. Can you guys see me okay? Let me know if I need to make any adjustments here. I beat my head against the wall for a long time. Great. Thanks, Morgan. She says it looks fantastic. Really questioning, like, what was I put here to do? I knew I wanted to help people. I knew I wanted to make a difference in the world. And yet I felt stuck, and yet I felt overwhelmed, and yet I felt frustrated. I spent a lot of years questioning what was my purpose because I was in a job that I hated. I spent a lot of years questioning because I was in a relationship that didn't wind up the way that I thought it should and the way that I wanted it to. And it felt like wasted time and wasted years. I questioned why I lived where I did, why I wasn't finding success faster, why I didn't have more money, why I didn't have all these big things that I had dreamed of. And it got me feeling pretty down for a long time. And it wasn't until last year that I really got like full on clarity about what it was that I was meant to do and who I was meant to serve and how. And that shift changed so many things for me that now I talk about this a lot. I talk about calling and purpose and finding your why a lot, because it used to be so elusive to me. Can anybody else relate to that? Like, it's a really stressful thing when people say, oh, just find your purpose and find your passion and live it out. And you're like, well, what is it? And so now that I feel like I have clarity on that after years and years of questioning and feeling really muddy and murky about that, there's such a sense of peace around it. And I want everybody else to feel that clear on it too. So I want to give you an example of how to know when you found your why and your purpose and your calling. So what I do now is I work with women around the world to help them get out of jobs that they hate and get out of situations, where they're finding themselves drained and overwhelmed, and get clear on their whys and create and grow their businesses that they love. And so I was talking to a client today, and we started digging a little bit deep into what's really, going on with her. And one of the things that she shared was that she's got a difficult relationship right now that is really draining her of a lot of energy. And we got into talking about it a little bit. And oh my gosh, the biggest heartbreak that I have ever experienced in a romantic relationship was, at the end of a relationship that lasted several years and that I thought was going to end one way, and I wound up ending it, which is not the way I planned for it to end. And there was a lot of love involved and a lot of love lost and a huge grieving process and just a real letdown and a real questioning on my part of why I had spent so many years in this relationship that ended in a loss. And what were all the things that I had missed out on during that time, and, who else could I have met and what else could I have done? And because honestly, it also had a lot to do with me waiting to start my business, because I felt like I was going to be in business with this person that I was involved with as well, romantically, and like I couldn't do it without him. And so, I put off starting my own business when we broke up, because I couldn't see I did not have confidence in myself to do it. So today I'm talking with this client, and she basically describes the exact same situation. I mean, the details are changed, of course, and everybody has different lives and different experiences, but this is the thing that has been holding her back for months and months and months and months and months and a lot of months in going for her dreams. And it gives me chills thinking about it. I just had this moment where I went, oh my gosh. The purpose behind, what I went through and what I experienced, part of it was certainly to be able to help her and to say, I get it. And to say, I get it, and I know what it's like on the other side, and I know how hard it is. Because none of our experiences are exactly the same, but what power there is in walking the journey with somebody who's walked a similar one. Whether it's grief or fear or whatever those emotions are that are keeping us from living the life of our dreams, starting our dream businesses, taking that next step, quitting our job, any of those things, we need somebody to show us that it's possible, somebody who we can relate to, somebody who's open about their story and their struggles and their challenges and says, hey, I've been there and I know it's possible. And that's why I share so much of my story, the failures and the successes and what I've learned. And that's why I talk about how you can use the worst day of your life to create your best life in the future. And that my story involves other types of loss too, the loss of a child, the loss of, other important relationships, and these things that haven't made a lot of sense to me, but that I now know I can use and be open about in order to fulfill my calling of helping others. And so when you're questioning your why, when you're questioning your purpose, when you're questioning your calling, look at your story. Look at your story and what you have to offer, because often the people who have experienced similar things are the ones who you're called to serve. It all plays together. Okay? And when you start to recognize these similarities and these challenges in the lives of people you come in contact with, you realize you have an opportunity to serve them. So I'm not a relationship coach, but I'm called to serve and help others. I know that much. I'm called to make a big difference in the world. Relationships are such a big part of our dream lives, and if they're going well, they can be so supportive in getting us where we want. And if we don't have the one that we want, or the one that we're in is not supportive, it can make such a difference in our ability to achieve our dreams. I've had, over the course of my relationships, to do a ton of adjustments and a ton of learning and a ton of growing in order to learn to be a healthy person in a relationship. But you know what? Even though I'm not a relationship coach and I'm a business coach, technically, it all plays together. And this is what it's all about. It's all about transformation. It's all about transforming your life. It's all about using the worst day, the worst thing that's ever happened to you to create your best life. And so whatever is going on with you right now, I just want to encourage you that in the future, this is going to be part of your story to tell to help others. Like, think about yourself a year or 2 years in the future on the other side of this thing, 5 years in the future. In my case, 8 years in the future beyond this relationship, to be able to go, oh, a little piece of the puzzle here. This is part of why I experienced this. This is part of why. Because now those experiences are helping me to help somebody else through it. And what a powerful thing, what a thing to connect over. What a way to show up in my calling to help women know that whatever they're going through, it's possible to not only survive it, but to thrive. So wherever you are today, whatever you're struggling with, and if you're struggling with finding your calling, you're struggling with finding your purpose, you're struggling with your why, think about As one of my mentors said to me, think about who you take a stand for. Think about that person. Often it's a person who has experienced and survived things like you have, and now is looking for, a way to use those things for good. You have the opportunity to set the example by using what you've been through for good as well. And that's just incredibly powerful, because no matter what your experience, no matter what your qualifications, no matter who else is out there doing it, doing what you want to do, the one thing that you have that nobody else has is your story. Your unique mix of experiences and lessons and, the way that the fabric of your life has been weaved together, your story is totally unique to you. And that's something no one else has. And perhaps if you are in or dream of being in a business where you get to help people and you get to make a difference in the world, perhaps your story is where you start to find your calling and your purpose and your why. Because it's been true of every woman I've ever talked to. Your story is much more powerful than you give it credit for. Your story is the thing that makes people catch their breath and say, wow, she's been through that. She survived it. She's still here. I can learn from her. And so often we don't know that because it's what we live. It's our normal, right? It's our normal. And so our normal doesn't seem anything extraordinary until someone points it out to us. And so that's what I'm doing for you here today. The things that make you unique, the things that make you so special and so capable of helping others. Those things are your powerful, powerful story. Those things are things that nobody can take away from you, and those things are what go together to show you and reveal to you what your why is, who you're called to help, who you're meant to serve, and how you can change the world and make a living doing that. How you can work and live out of your passions. How you can change the world one person at a time, or one dog at a time, or one horse at a time, or one whatever at a time. This transformation is real. And I trust that you can see that in the story that I shared today. I'm really glad you joined me for this special scope today. And I hope you have an awesome, awesome, awesome day and do some thinking about this. I'd love to hear what you come up with when you think about what makes you unique, what makes your story unique. Email me. Go to my website, go to lifewithpassion.com and click on the contact link, send me an email there, or email info@lifewithpassion.com. Let me know what you've come up with. I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear you share. Love to hear your insights, love to hear the revelations. Let's start something here where we take a deep look at our whys and our stories, and use those to inform and fuel our calling and our purpose, and let those things overrule the fear and anxiety that we have about figuring this stuff out in a really analytical way. Let's go to our hearts and let's think about what we're passionate about, and use those things to create our dream lives and our dream businesses, and give ourselves the permission to believe that it's possible. I'm living proof of that. The women who work with me are living proof of that. So many of the people I talk to who have created their dream businesses are exactly living proof of that. It's not about figuring out the 5-year plan. It's about figuring out who you want to be, how you want to feel, and what kind of a difference you desire to make in the world. Building a business around that is what is going to keep you energized and motivated and moving beyond the fear, beyond the anxiety, beyond the overwhelm. And that is where you find true freedom and true passion that does not go away. Let me know your thoughts on this. I'd love to hear from you. I'm Christine McAlister, the founder of Life with Passion, lifewithpassion.com. Thank you for joining me today. Have an awesome day.